Kindergarten children, educators, and parents' perceptions about the junkyard as a unique pedagogical communal approach. Dr. Sigal Achituv, Oranim Academic College, and Dr. Shulamit Choshen Mansoura, Oranim Academic College and Ephrata Academic College. The study explores early childhood educators' and parents' perceptions about the junkyard communal approach and their role in its operation. This approach was developed in the kibbutz educational system since the 40s and 50s. So now we'll explain briefly about the kibbutz as a unique form of the community in Israel. The kibbutz is a unique collective community in Israel. The first kibbutz was established in 1909, and today there are 265 of them. The kibbutz educational system acts as an incubator of early childhood innovations adopted in Israeli early childhood settings. The picture resembles one of the main principles of the early childhood kibbutz educational philosophy, the connection between the early childhood systems and the community. Here we can see the kindergarten children in one of their everyday tour around the kibbutz area. Now we'll say a few words about one of the major philosophers of the early childhood kibbutz education. Malka Haas. Haas was born in 1920 in Berlin. She settled in Israel in 1935 and in 1939 became a founding member of the religious kibbutz Sde Eliyahu, where she lives to this day, celebrating her 100th birthday. Haas became a prominent teacher and influential figure and taught generations of students of early education, taking on leading roles in shaping early education in the kibbutz and beyond. She devoted much of her professional life to the conceptual, educational, and pedagogical elaboration of the junkyard. Haas's visit in the kindergarten in her own kibbutz, which is demonstrated on the left picture, is an example for the connection between the early childhood system and the community. So what is the junkyard? The junkyard, a unique educational environment and practice developed in early childhood systems on the Israeli kibbutz in the 1940s and 1950s, and is still in wide use in early childhood settings in kibbutzim and other various communities. It consists of artifacts of the adult world that are no longer in use, and is an ever-changing setup in which children's free play is encouraged, with minimal rules for use of time, space, objects, and social relations. What does the junkyard include? The objects in the junkyard. The collection of junk is carefully selected by the teacher, representing a variety of texture, scale, form, color, and history divided into 4 categories. The first category is large-scale construction elements. The second category is everyday utensils. In the picture, these 2 girls are using a kettle and cases for glasses. The third category is spare parts of machines and appliances whose original use was unclear. I guess you can recognize some of the objects in the picture, but regarding other objects, we can hardly identify their original use. The fourth category is materials for experimentation, materials that generate experimental, sensual, and aesthetic activities. The junkyard is based on structures that children build in subgroups or as individuals. Unlike playing inside, where children need to clean up every day, in the junkyard, they have the opportunity to keep the structures they built for as long as they choose, as long as they are busy developing them. According to literature, the junkyard as a constructivist ecological-based approach is adapted to child's developmental needs and is considered a major pedagogical tool by teachers trained on junkyard approach. Methodology. We handled a qualitative study which involved 14 in-depth interviews with kindergarten teachers operating junkyards in rural and urban areas, in-depth interviews with 12 parents, and observations at kindergarten's junkyards. All the interviews underwent content analysis according to Strauss and Corbin's approach. Participants were notified of the research aims and procedures. No conflicts of interest were found between researchers and research subjects. Findings. The junkyard was found as contributing to all aspects of children's development. In the picture, we can see the intimate collaboration and the sensomotoric coordination between these two boys in order to cope with the challenge of transferring the water into the pipeline. The sublimate use of water invites passions and enjoyment as well as cognitive coping with problem solving. Here are some of the teacher's statements. Hilit is saying, a place that allows thinking outside the box, a place where we present different stimuli for children and they can make up role-playing games, simulate different situations. Reina is saying, an experience of exploration. Children have the opportunity to meet things they don't meet. And Saret is saying, they can choose objects, they can choose structures in terms of junk. Anyone can choose what is right for her today, whether she continues the construction of yesterday, whether she takes apart, whether she rebuilds. The junkyard was found as reflecting the community environment. And here are some examples for that. The first one, marriage ceremony in the community and in the junkyard. In the right picture, you can see a bride and a groom under the chuppah, which is where the Jewish wedding ceremony takes place. On the left picture, you can see a chuppah which the children constructed by themselves in the junkyard. The children are familiar with wedding festivals in their family's circle. In part of the communities, they experience preparations toward wedding ceremonies and festivals that are taking place in the community during their daily tour. Here we can see a wedding orchestra in the community and in the junkyard. Lighting Hanukkah candles at home and in the junkyard. Hanukkah is a very known Jewish holiday whose main costume is lighting candles. In the right picture, you can see two girls who light Hanukkah candles at home. In the left picture, you can see how the girls constructed their Hanukkah menorah in order to imitate the holiday ceremony. Sarit, one of the teachers, says, I feel the children are actually imitating, bringing their home life, their frustrations. They usually build buildings. They actually build their houses. Here is a short part from an observation on children in the junkyard. 3 5 to 5.5-year-old played for 4 days preparing a surprise birthday party for Sarah, their teacher. The cake was made out of soil, decorated with crumbling crayons. The actual crayons turned into candles. Netta, the cake is 1,000,000 years old. Oh, what? Sarah is 1,000,000 years old? Netta, yes, she is 1,000,000 years old. Laughs. When the teacher approaches them, Netta tells her, don't enter yet. I'll call you when we'll celebrate your birthday. Sarah, okay, sweeties. Netta, do you know how old you are? You are 1,000,000 years old. Sarah, wow, how old I am. She leaves. Tomer, oh, we didn't prepare a gift for her. Oh, then go by. We'll decorate the chair. Teacher's role was perceived as collecting the junk, building the junkyard, being responsible for routine maintenance, caring for safety, and mediating during activities. Osnat is saying, a junkyard you have to maintain. It's not just throwing and laying down. You have to make an effort, arrange the junk, and think what's beyond the object. What creative thinking will the child find in the object? In the picture, we can see Shir, the teacher who is helping two girls transfer the microwave, and through that she shows them how to cooperate while taking care for their own and their partner's body and safety. Orit says, the role of the staff is to mediate the children's activities in interpersonal relationships among the children when they encounter dilemmas, conflicts, and social problems, and also to mediate knowledge when children encounter phenomena that are new to them, such as a new animal, a plant that has grown, some kind of water phenomenon, or a change in weather. When the children are busy in the junkyard, Shir cares for the yard's aesthetics, modeling caring for physical and social environment. The parent's attitude toward the junkyard is accompanied by fear that dissipates as the teacher clarifies the importance of the yard for the children's development. Judith, a teacher, says, the parents were very fond of the junkyard. At the beginning of the year, at the parents' meeting, I explained them about its importance. Some parents initially objected, but I showed a video at the assembly explaining the importance of the junkyard. When the parents watched the video, I looked at them and really felt that something was seeping into them. I knew there is going to be a lot of work with the parents, but I was not afraid of it. I knew how important the junkyard was for the children, and that was what reinforced me. Moran, a parent, represents the parents' point of view. She says, in the first parents' meeting, I didn't want to hear about the junkyard, but after the teacher explained to us how the junkyard will contribute to our children's development, the teacher decided that I'll be responsible for the objects the parents add. My intervention helped me reduce stress and understand how much the children enjoy the junkyard and also learn and develop. And Yara, another teacher, adds, the more parents are involved in the yard, the less they are concerned about it. The more objects they bring, the more they check it, the more they ask about it, the more they feel that they are keeping the child safe. The parents realize that children are taught to be careful through strict rules, such as throwing nothing in the yard. They realize that teachers trust children's abilities, constituting a personal model for conduct in the junkyard. Some parents experience the junkyard as their second childhood. Since I remember, I played a lot with cubes, trucks, horseback riding, sword and armor, balls, a table was a car, and a children's chair had two wheels and a backrest, and that's how a cab and a truck were imagined. I remember a lot of outdoor games of sticks and tin cans. There were no games bought, so we improvised games from everything we found on the street. This research highlights the teacher's need for support from staff, parents, community, and supervisors when implementing the junkyard approach pedagogy. In an increasingly sterile living environment, the junkyard is a unique area representing real life and communal experience adopted for young children. Thank you.